My name is Dennis Jarvis, and this is the 10th lecture in the DIY Management Consultancy and Auditing series. All companies have a storage area for products or materials. It could be a small company buying products for onward sales to customers, or a manufacturing company with a warehouse that stores materials at each stage of manufacturing and into finished product warehouse with a dispatch area. This presentation is based on a medium-sized manufacturing company, but most of the systems and procedures are relative to all company types. Warehouse equipment has to be relative to the materials or products being stored. Those on the slide would be used by most companies and supported by other equipment needed for specific company operations, for example, pumping equipment for some liquids, etc. All equipment, including robotic transport, has to be regularly serviced to ensure it operates properly and is safe for the user. You need adequate space in which to store all materials or products needed to meet manufacturing and sales schedules. As you can see from the slide, storage facilities are needed for all types of materials. Some items need to be kept refrigerated or frozen in cold stores, and others in secure stores, for example, dangerous substances or high-value items. All items should be used on a first-in, first-out basis, as most materials and products have a specified shelf life. All materials and products need to be checked for damage and inspected and tested against the specification to ensure suitable for use in the finished product. Providing they pass inspection and testing, products and materials should be moved to their designated storage area. All materials and products need to be stored in their own designated area, in the correct environmental conditions, for easy access and quick tracing when needed. Materials and products can be entered on computer records on receipt, with details of quantity received, shelf life, and storage area. In some medium to large companies, materials and products will be barcoded and automatically delivered to the designated area on conveyors and robotic lifts, etc. In the early days, BEA had a lot of problems by losing track of products in their automated warehouse, but eventually they got it right. This slide demonstrates the fact that warehousing is part of a much larger team that has to work together to ensure customer orders are made and delivered on time. Receipts and issues of materials and products must be covered by instructions from authorized staff in each of the above departments. We will look at each of these departments individually on the following slides. Marketing and sales should complete production instructions by using current customer orders plus market research results to produce a manufacturing schedule to cover estimated total sales over a set period, for example, 6 months. Production planning. Check quantity of finished product available, and then prepare manufacturing schedule for the balance, using parts list to raise buying requisitions for materials needed, job cards and stores requisitions for manufacturing. Delays in manufacturing due to lack of materials can have a serious effect on company cash flow and profitability. Buying needs to ensure materials are of best price and quality and delivered to the right place at the right time. Manufacturing needs to ensure that all parts are inspected by quality control during manufacture and on completion of the finished product. Parts also need to be made in the right order they are needed for all the assembly and finishing operations. Warehousing has been discussed in detail already, and this slide sets out its main functions. On the following slides, we will discuss the items on this slide individually, including the things you need to check and questions you need to ask to ensure that warehousing operations are efficient and cost-effective. Check job descriptions for all staff and confirm the details are correct. Have individual discussions with warehouse manager and area supervisors in relation to actual responsibilities and if they have any recommendations for improvements. Also select one or two individual staff members for a similar discussion. Check that all the legally required independent inspection certificates are up to date and that all the necessary clothing and safety equipment is up to date and available for use by all staff. Make sure all staff have had the necessary training and qualification needed to operate the equipment that they use. Check that systems and procedures ensure that buying are advised when goods have been received and pass quality inspection and testing, and that stock records are updated and goods are placed in their designated areas. Check that all items are stored safely. Some items need to be stored in temperature-controlled areas, for example, cold store or refrigerator. Others, such as dangerous chemicals or explosives, need secure blast-proof rooms, while valuable items need to be locked in burglar-proof areas. Check that specifications and the inspection and testing methods and equipment deliver good quality, high-performance products, with clear reports being sent to everyone who needs to know. Accurate records of receipts and issues of all stock items is essential. These records should be updated contemporaneously. You need to check stock movement to confirm receipts and issues are consistent with current stock balance. Investigate any discrepancies and find the reason for the difference. If the assessment result is poor, you need to follow the action program on the following slides. Although the problem could be a mix of the items on this slide, we will look at each individually. Obviously, if several items are involved, you need to take group action. As stated on the slide, only make necessary changes. Ensure that the changes you make can be introduced in a way that will avoid any major disruption to current production's operations. In one company where I worked, there was an area where a product had to be made in a special environment. The area concerned needed to be extended, and while I and several other managers suggested that it would be best to build the extension on each side of the area over about 6 to 8 weeks and join to the main shelter when everything was ready, he insisted it could be completed by opening each end of the shelter and extending it during the annual holiday period. Unfortunately, it took much longer and we lost production for many weeks, resulting in delays incurring expensive contract penalties. Poor communications is one of the major causes of company problems. It's important that buying makes sure that warehousing are advised when materials are due to be delivered, and that manufacturing presents stores requisitions when drawing out materials for production. If you have materials that are used regularly, you may have a maximum stock holding with a set reorder point and need to advise buying when they are at the reorder point. Lack of or overstock has a significant effect on cash flow and profitability. Using poor equipment or incorrect calibration will result in one of two things: customers receiving defective products or unnecessary rejection in the factory. Both will have a major effect on cash flow and profitability. All materials should be stored in the correct environment and have easy access for efficient control and movements to and from the designated area. Nothing upsets customer more than receiving a damaged product. The subsequent return and replacement operations have a significant effect on cash flow and profits. When you have completed all the necessary improvements, your warehousing operations will be as described on this slide. This is the final presentation in my do-it-yourself management consultancy and auditing series. I hope you found the presentations useful and any actions taken have increased your company profits. A good team will always produce the results set out on this slide. Give a little, give a lot, put anything in the pot. Every penny helps. Thank you for your support.